Let's go. Phasing in the Omega mode again, I'm rhyming the whole song's worth. Cut it down this time around, it's not a long verse. Time to show the world, Mama Diamond, I was born first. I deal real.
Hello. This is That Strange Wrestling Show Recall, and today we are talking about Wrestling Society X. I am Adam Strange, and I am joined by Twig himself,
Jason Kais. Thank you for having me on the show, Adam.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime I can have Twig on my show, I am more than happy to do so.
I'm glad to be here.
Great. So, how do you feel about talking about Wrestling Society X?
Oh, I hate it. That show was horrible.
It's horrible. Let's forget about it.
What assignment did you give me?
I made you watch all 10 episodes of Wrestling Society X.
Yes. And to sum it up, it was agonizing. Disdain. How's that word? Disdain.
Oh, disdain.
Yeah.
For the show.
Oh, I mean, I like wrestling. I love wrestling. I mean, I've been watching it for 30 years. I mean, it's my passion, but oh yeah, what were they trying to do on MTV?
I don't entirely hate it, okay? So it sounds like we have a little bit of a different point of view here.
Yes.
I can understand where it can be disliked for sure. I understand that. But there are things that I kind of like about it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, if you break it down, there's things I'm going to like, but for entirety, it was horrible. I get why it was canceled.
Sure. Yeah. And there's some unanswered matches at the end, even unanswered or unarriving characters. They introduce characters that are never on television.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting. You know, I thought, something like with the WWE, they should do something like their own little show, like a sitcom, so you can know who these characters are better than these little, whatever you call promos or whatever you call it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So some of the side promos in Wrestling Society X, I actually liked. Did you not like the off or out of the ring promos or skits? It was funny. Yeah. I mean, that's what I kind of look forward to when I'm watching this stuff. So yeah, it was okay. It wasn't horrible. Okay. All right. So before we start getting into the shows themselves, the 10 episodes of Wrestling Society X, which actually the last episode 10, never aired on television, on MTV, as you already mentioned. Only 9 episodes aired on television.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because in the last show, which we will mention, there are some big stipulations.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was watching, like, holy cow, this was on TV. Wow, I'm surprised.
Well, actually, it wasn't.
Right. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so Wrestling Society X was a wrestling television show, which the running time on television was a 30-minute show on MTV from January 30th to March 14th of 2007. The announcers, okay? I got to get to the announcers. We had Brett Ernest, who is the color commentator, and then we had the play-by-play guy, who is Chris Kloss. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, I am not angry at the commentary in Wrestling Society X. I thought it was fine, actually. I thought it was fine.
Amateur. It was amateur.
All right, fine. It's amateur, especially. I mean, Brett Ernest in the color commentating. Yeah, he's not great. He's really not great. But I thought Chris Kloss was fine. He knew what moves were. He could call moves.
Sure.
So he knew.
It was a little wiggly whack. I mean.
Okay. It's agreed. But my biggest beef with Chris Kloss, the main play-by-play guy, was just his hair. And that makes me feel like maybe I am a super old dude now, right? Because I remember when I was a kid and I had friends that older people were telling to cut their hair. You know what I'm saying? But yes. Every time I saw Chris Kloss, because every episode started with like a close up of the two commentators.
Correct.
Yeah. So every time I saw Chris Kloss, I was just thinking, hey, dude, cut your hair a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of looked like a tool, but yeah, I mean, you know, they're just commentating. You know, you don't really have to watch them too much. And I kind of got mixed up on who was who. Who was the one that kept saying that the referee was doing a slow count all the time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the color guy, which is the Brett Ernest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he drove me nuts with that.
Yeah, he was really pounding that home through all 10 episodes.
Right. Just like people listening to the show, they're going to wonder which one is which. Well, I mean, unless they listen to your other show, which is terrific, but they're going to be like, that Twig guy, he's driving me nuts.
Oh, come on.
But really, yeah, I mean, those guys were okay. I mean, what did you think? I wanted to ask you, what did you think of the 30-minute length and time?
You know what? I was actually a fan of it. Maybe, okay. Would I be a fan? WWE can't run a 30-minute show. But for some other company, I think it's fine. They had 10-minute draws, 10-minute time limits for, I think, most of their matches.
Right. Yeah.
Were called out as 10-minute time limit matches.
Correct.
And almost everything fell under a 10-minute match.
I like that. That was really good. That was
sure.
Yeah, WWE could look into that because that's kind of realistic. What fight's going to last 60 minutes? Come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that WWE probably could look into some shorter matches for sure. I mean, there weren't. That's another thing about Wrestling Society X is there's not a lot of rest holds going on. There's a lot of action. It's fast paced.
Mm-hmm. Those are pluses of the show. I agree. I can't fault that of the show.
Right. And there's actually, if you look up Wrestling Society X on Google, let's just say you go into images. One of the first things you're going to find, maybe it's not first. I'm going to have to scroll quite a bit, but it fits. There's a T-shirt that says high spot, crowd shot, high spot, crowd shot, high spot, explosion. Right. And that's pretty much the show. That's pretty much the show. There's some kind of dive outside of the ring. The crowd reacts, and then there's another high spot, crowd reacts, explosion.
And you're right. That's basically it. What did you think of the venue, like where they held it?
Yeah, it's a real interesting place. It's like it's some kind of warehouse.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. And the thing that I really liked about it is one man, right? If you have a match, one man would come out just like a regular entranceway, and the next guy would come down from a balcony.
Oh, that like some kind of tornado did that quite frequently.
Yeah, Human Tornado did do that quite frequently. They'd come down from a balcony, climb down some a ladder of some sort, and then through the crowd to the ring. And they mention a lot that there is no padding outside the ring. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of dives out there. I'm not really sure if anybody cares really if there's any padding. Correct. Yeah, like back in the old days when they used to peel it off the ground and everything. Oh my God, he pile driver. Yeah, sure. That's not necessarily a thing. And they made a big deal about how, which was weird. I don't think they even mentioned it until like 3 episodes into the show, but you could pin in a match. You could pin somebody anywhere. I think inside the arena is how they phrased it. Right. It didn't have to be inside the ring. Did anybody get pinned outside the ring? Not that I can remember. No. And there was supposed to be no disqualifications too, correct? There were, yeah. That was the rule. They mentioned that at least in some episode, probably not the first episode. Right, but if I remember correctly, I think somebody interfered in the match and they called the fight. They called it off. Yeah, which is essentially a disqualification. Yeah. So kind of a gripe of the show, what I did not like about it. Yeah, that's completely fair because they do make a mention that there are no disqualifications, and I believe it's a tag team match at some point, or maybe it's just a singles match, and then a whole group, like 3 guys, come out in favor of another guy and just beat the shit out of one guy, and then the referee just calls off the match. He doesn't say it's a disqualification, I'm pretty sure, but he just calls off the match.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking. I can't think of the match, but yeah, I know what you're talking about exactly.
Sure. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the shows, or let's just go ahead and go through some of the shows.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Let's see. The first match in Wrestling Society X. You have the notes on that.
Yeah,
that
it was Matt Sydal versus Jack Evans, and Matt Sydal came with Lizzie Valentine. Ooh,
yeah.
Fox.
Yeah, she is a fox, and let me tell you, she gets into a lot of trouble through this series.
Oh yeah, yes, you're correct.
Yeah,
good storyline.
Yeah, this was one of the storylines that I at least semi enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
She helps Matt Sydal in most of his matches.
Yes,
or in all of his matches. I think Matt Sydal, he loses against Jack Evans. Is that correct?
He does. He does lose to Jack Evans.
Right. And
I had a question though about Matt Sydal. Did he wrestle in WWE? He looks like one of the posses.
Sure, he did. He looks like one of the who?
What was it? The posse or whatever with Shane McMahon or whatever? Or was that not him?
No, you're talking about the Mean Street Posse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he wasn't in the Mean Street Posse, but he was in WWE. He was Evan Bourne in WWE. Yeah. So he did end up in WWE. He I think he failed a couple drug tests and just never came back, and he ended up getting released.
So he did this after Wrestling Society X, or was it before?
Yeah, he did WWE after Wrestling Society X.
Okay, because I kind of was watching this show thinking this is kind of like, oh, yeah, this is a final farewell for a bunch of WWE wrestlers.
Oh, no. Yeah, you know what? The talent pool in Wrestling Society X, I think, is pretty high. And they have a few guys that are actually, they have a few guys that are post WWE career.
Right.
They have a few guys that are pre WWE.
Right. Yeah.
And Matt Sydal is one of them.
Yeah. He was entertaining for the show. He was a highlight, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. And I think his backstage skits were, I don't know if I want to say great, but they were fine.
Yes.
I was kind of surprised by how well he could do in a backstage segment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking, really.
Yeah, you're correct. And I mean, that's exactly, I'm watching this thinking he was already on WWE. So him having no prior success shows a lot for him, I would say.
Sure, yeah. He's actually one of the guys. There are quite a few guys on this show. But back when I was in my high school days, I used to go to Olytic, Indiana and watch IWA Mid-South, right, which was run by Ian Rotten. And Matt Sydal was one of the guys that wrestled regularly for IWA Mid-South, and I had seen the wrestling talent that he had. I mean, he's an incredible wrestler.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
name drop some other people. Was AJ? Didn't you see AJ there?
I saw AJ Styles at IWA Mid-South for sure. Yeah,
very nice. So yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, and Olytic, Indiana is it's the tiniest town probably in the United States. And to think that AJ Styles once wrestled there is ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But thanks to Ian Rotten, I got to see him live. And I sat on my hands the whole time. Also, not because AJ Styles wasn't great, but I'm an idiot fan, right? And I thought that he had to prove I'd never seen him live. So I thought that he had to prove something to me. I'm an idiot, okay?
Oh, it's okay, because you thought the show was good. So it's okay. I expect that from you.
Sure. Yeah, I thought what show was good?
Society Wrestling Society X. Didn't you say earlier that you thought this show was good? So yeah. It makes sense.
Okay. All right, fine. So so Jack Evans. Let's talk about Jack Evans for a second.
Yeah.
Incredibly athletic, right?
For a gymnast, yes.
For a gymnast. Yeah. There are problems with Jack Evans as a wrestling character, right, that people want to pay attention to.
Right.
So they call him the Prince of Parkland, which I guess is where he's supposed to be from. He's supposed to be from Parkland, Washington, or something like that. But so he comes off as he's like this parkour guy.
Oh, okay. Breakdancing.
You're right. Yeah, no. I think in the beginning, because they don't exactly explain everything in the beginning. I kind of felt like he was a parkour guy in the beginning, and then later in the series, he's a breakdance guy.
Oh, well,
That's how I kind of.
He's before his time, I guess. If he was parkour, man, this guy is something else.
Right. You could see into the future.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, incredibly athletic, and he's a guy that wrestles currently in.
Is this your job of the intern? You know, he was supposed to give you this message.
Yeah, definitely intern, because Jack Evans, Lucha Underground.
Okay? Oh, wow. So he wears a mask?
He does not wear a mask in Lucha Underground, but he wrestles currently in Lucha Underground. He's, pretty frequent guy in Lucha Underground.
Which on Netflix, right?
Yes, on Netflix. So he's still a successful wrestler, Jack Evans. But and you know what? Also in Wrestling Society X, I think Jack Evans ends up being one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, wow.
You hated
your level of success and your favorite. And thinking this show is great. Man, that's troublesome. I mean, I know you're a fan and all, but what are you thinking?
So hold on. You hated Jack Evans?
Not a fan. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to watch the Olympics, I would watch it in the summertime, you know.
No.
I mean, this guy's going to pop me and beat my ass probably, but I mean, he was bouncing around like a little gymnast out there, you know, doing his 720 flips and whatever you call it.
Yeah, no, yeah, he definitely is. He's definitely a high flying act, a gymnast act, as you might say.
Yeah, I like Matt Sydal way better, and I was disappointed that he lost the fight.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So in the next match of the first episode,
you said the second fight? You mean the second match?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It was the Hardcore Royal Rumble.
Yes, the Hardcore Royal Rumble to determine there are 2 contracts suspended above the ring, and whoever grabs those contracts will fight each other on episode 2 to see who is the WSX champion.
Correct. And I guess that's a okay way to determine who the number 1 contenders for that belt is. I mean, I don't know what else you would do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it like a true sport, it should probably be a tournament.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yep.
Yeah, but you've only got 10 episodes, and they're like 20 minutes long, so you should probably do it quick. So let's do a battle royal ladder match thing.
But it's a tough way to introduce wrestlers to your show, doing it this way, and that's why I think the 2 winners, if I can release that now, is
go ahead.
And X-Pac.
Yeah.
So X-Pac, I mean, this is his last hurrah.
Yeah, I'd say it is. Yeah, it's his last hurrah for sure.
Besides the porn industry.
Okay, there are definitely more people have seen X-Pac have sex with China than there are that have seen this for sure.
I guarantee you're right. Oh yeah, it's for sure, and for good reasons. I mean, the porno might have been better scripted.
Oh man. Oh wow. So during this battle royal for to see who'd become the number 1 contender, you could be eliminated by being thrown over the top rope, but also there are cages, and I don't know what to call them.
Oh yeah, like the ladders that you had to climb up to get the.
No, not the ladders that you had to climb up, but the apparatuses that were set out around the ring. That if you're thrown into them, you're like electrocuted.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Yeah, not.
Yeah, so a lot of people were thrown over the top rope and into these electrocution apparatuses, and they're electrocuted.
What are the people in the crowds thinking when this happens? And on the TV, I mean, it's just shaking constantly. You don't really see anything that's going on. In the crowd, you just got to be like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, the people in the crowd have to be, first, they're let in on it for sure. And I'm guessing they're paid for it.
Some of them had been, yeah. Oh, yeah.
At least some of them, because of the people that they cut to that are acting like horrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people are definitely paid.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. That was horrible. That they should have left that out. I mean, I know they're trying to separate themselves from WCW, WWE or whatever, but that was a poor way to separate yourself from it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, hold on. So you're saying that they should have left out the pyrotechnics?
Yeah, definitely.
And Wrestling Society X, because that's almost the whole thing is pyrotechnics.
Well, no, I thought it was music and wrestling. They're trying to combine the two.
Okay, yeah, that's one thing that we actually haven't got to yet, I think, in this episode, is that they bring on a musician to perform every episode, which luckily in the YouTube clips or the YouTube episodes that I watched, the musician, his set was cut out.
Correct. Yeah. So I didn't see any of the sets, but some of the musicians were pretty big. I couldn't tell you. I didn't write down in my notes who was on which, but
yeah,
I know Pitbull was there and some other guys can't remember offhand, but they were decent acts, and it was cool that they had them, helping to announce the fight.
Some of them. Okay, hold on. You say it was cool that they had him up there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Pitbull. I don't know how big of a name Pitbull was at the time. Obviously,
small.
Yes, yeah, he was small, but Pitbull was up there. I thought he was decent, at least on commentary.
Yeah, he did great.
Yeah, compared to the other musicians that have been on commentary. Good Charlotte was on commentary. They did fine too.
Yeah, they were okay. I can't not help think of Cameron Diaz when I think of Good Charlotte, but other than that, yeah.
Are they okay? Good Charlotte. Let's talk about Good Charlotte for a second.
Sure. Let's break it down.
Yeah, are they twins? How many people are in Good Charlotte?
Oh yeah, I think they're twins, or they're brothers, of course. And I don't know who else is in the group, but man, those guys. One was a model for a little bit while he was in the band, and they make some pretty hot chicks.
He was a model, or you said he met a model?
Huh?
Okay, the guy in Good Charlotte, he met a model, or he was a model?
He was a model, yeah. He did a model, yeah. Oh, yeah. They were big because of the whole TRL craze and everything. And then Madden, remember Madden football had the anthem on there? Every time you started it up, you hear the anthem. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. But, yeah, one of them is married to Cameron Diaz. How did he score that?
Wow. Still married to Cameron Diaz, or was for 60 seconds?
No, still.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
But I mean, that just shows, we're talking about Good Charlotte and not just Wrestling Society X. I mean, God, these guys can beat my ass, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm the twig. I could take them out probably, but.
Yeah, no, yeah, whatever. We're just dumb wrestling marks. We're just fans, whatever. But that's what wrestling is marketed to, right? Just a bunch of fans.
That's right. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So it's just our opinion counts. No matter what people tell you, our opinion, it's fine.
And a good opinion is watching That Strange or listening to That Strange Wrestling show.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So as we said, Vampiro and X-Pac won that battle royal, electrocution ladder match battle royal to become number one contenders for the yet undecided Wrestling Society X Championship. So on episode 2, you've got notes for episode 2. So let's hear what happened on episode 2.
Yeah, the first fight was Luke Hawk. I have no idea who he was, versus the Human Tornado, who was not Dolomite from the movies in the 70s. I don't know if you ever heard of Dolomite. Popular African-American series that could kick Shaft's ass any day. I tell you what.
Wow, yeah. No, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, man. Hey, Snoop Dogg raps about him. Dolomite, look him up. But Human Tornado, yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, from Wrestling Society X. The thing that stands out to me about Human Tornado is his junk.
Oh, yeah, that was great. That was genius. Yeah, you could kick him in the balls, and he had no effect.
Right, yeah. I was a little bit confused on episode 2. I thought maybe that his gimmick was that he didn't have testicles. I was really confused.
No.
Yeah.
He had testicles. Come on. He was a pimp.
Yeah, but I don't even... Did they mention that in episode 2? That he was a pimp?
No, you're correct. They did not mention that.
No, they didn't mention that. They didn't mention that until later, that he's the PIMP of Wrestling Society X.
But they did mention his balls were made of steel.
Okay, they did. All right. Well, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know if they said made of steel, but yeah, he got punched in them or kicked in them, and it didn't phase him. Okay. So it was a little goofy. The fight was, but he had some really good moves. I mean, on the dance floor and in the wrestling ring.
He's definitely a lanky dude, and he's a high flying dude as well. So
yeah, we might get into it. Did you see the one where he flew into the crowd?
Yes, yeah, that's later in the series.
Yes,
I believe that's against Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal. It's against Matt Sydal, and Lizzie Valentine pulls Matt Sydal out of the way, which I don't even know why that would particularly matter. But
so he didn't miss his mark. He meant to go into the crowd, you think?
No, I think he missed it. He overshot. Even if he would have overshot his mark and he went into the crowd from the ring, and it's like over the rope moonsault thing.
Yeah, good description.
Over the guardrail into the crowd. The Human Tornado did this.
Yeah, which I'm surprised nobody got hurt. I can't imagine that was scripted at all. I mean, that was cool.
I bet everybody in that front row knew what was happening.
Yeah, good. You could be right.
I think I'm going to say that everybody in that building was paid for the whole thing.
Yeah, because some of the stuff, I mean, yeah, I don't know the insurance policy on that. I mean, when something happened,
Sure, but I'm the stunt doubles, Hollywood, they've got this whole thing figured out.
But yeah, back to that fight. Human Tornado won that fight.
Okay, so Human Tornado beat Matt Sydal.
Luke Hawk.
He beat Luke Hawk. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Luke Hawk.
Oh, yeah. I got ADD, so I kind of get off script a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're fine. Okay, so what else did we have on episode 2?
Yeah, we had 3 fights altogether. And then the second fight, you had that 70s team, which was somewhat entertaining. This was a tag match versus Team Dragon Gate.
Yeah, so that 70s team has what's the disco guy's name? Do you have any idea?
It was not Disco Inferno, which I was disappointed.
Yeah, I love Disco Inferno. I miss him for sure.
Oh, excellent! What happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he does podcasts a lot, but other than that, I have no idea.
Yeah, I should have really Wikipedia that 70s show because I couldn't tell you who they are. I
know that one half of that 70s team is Joey Ryan, who's a pretty big name on the independents these days. And it's basically the same character that he had then is the character that he has now, where he's like, in fact, I think on the show he's called Joey Magnum Ryan.
Oh, yep. You are correct. Is he the one that kept pulling his pants down and mooning people? And
every match that Joey Ryan is in, his pants get pulled down.
Yeah, kind of agonizing. It was kind of, it was more of a comedy. This episode 2, if you wanted a good laugh, if you wanted comedy, this was the episode to watch.
Sure. And there are definitely some musicians that later in the series that I absolutely loved on commentary during a Joey Ryan match. I mean, they can't stop talking about his ass. I'll get into it later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Oh man, it was great. It was great. So
does he still use the disco ball?
Yeah, the disco ball.
Does he still use it in his act today?
Oh no, Joey Ryan has nothing to do with the disco ball. That's the other dude.
Oh, okay.
I'm not aware who that even is.
Yeah, and then they faced against Team Dragon Gate. Have you ever heard of them before?
No, I do not. I'm not aware of these guys.
They were new to the show too. They weren't too familiar with them on the show when I was watching it. They were like, "Yeah, this is a new act, a new tag team from Japan,
the land of the rising sun."
Is that just a quote, or is that their gimmick?
Yeah, I mean that's a thing that they say a lot. They're from the land of the rising sun.
Okay. Yeah. Later on in the series, they kind of have a good, skit going on. But in this fight, it was just a comedy routine. Team Dragon Gate loses. That 70s team wins. But then somebody gets hit by a disco ball, which happens in every 70s team fight.
Everyone.
Yeah. And then on the third fight, we had the title fight between Six Pac versus Vampiro.
Yeah, which actually I forgot to mention this on episode 1. I don't know why this stands out, but the only thing that really stands out this early in this series about X-Pac to me is when he's coming out for the Battle Royal, and he looks like he's smoking a blunt right at the beginning.
Oh, he probably is.
Yeah, he is. He is. But yeah, so in this match, he gets tombstoned by Vampiro through a casket.
Exploding coffin, yes.
Yes, an exploding coffin. And he gets pinned 1, 2, 3. And Vampiro is the first ever WSX world champion.
Which I was kind of surprised. I figured they would have took it to 6-Pac. They were right in his junk pretty hard. The commentators, he's a legend and all this, which, he rode the coattails of everybody else on DX and everything else. Not a good wrestler. And he showed it on display in this fight. He was 2 moves for the audience, and that was it. The Bronco Buster and I can't remember.
No kick?
Nah, he might have done that, yes. But what's the one where it looks like the Famouser?
The X. Are you talking about the X Factor?
Where he just jumps up and throws their head in between his legs.
Yes, that's the X Factor.
Yep. So that was basically his moves. That was it.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I'm not so sure that Vampiro does much more, but
no, and they're on there because of their names, correct?
Correct. Yeah, those 2 guys are definitely there because people know who they are. Especially, X-Pac, especially.
But where this show could have thrived and what it could have done was really focused on the young wrestlers upcoming instead of those 2. I get they're trying to sell tickets and sell views, but they should have made it more of a independent, kind of a farm league type deal, maybe.
Okay, yeah, and that's I agree with you. But at the same time, I also feel like maybe that the problem with the show is that it doesn't have any stars.
Yeah, but I'm sure WWE, when they were WWF and WCW, they go through that. You build up your characters.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Point well taken. Point well taken.
So. Yeah, that's me winning this argument of the show was crap.
The whole thing. You're ready to throw Wrestling Society X completely out the window.
Well, somebody did because it's not on anymore. But
it is not. You're correct.
It's if you're a wrestling fan and if you're probably listening to the show, it's a good show to watch to debate over. And it's a good show to look back. Oh, you get to see what I'm sure you'll talk about is Seth Rollins or a bunch of people that's where they came from. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't think there are, I don't know if saying that there are good matches on this show is exactly the way to put it, but there are there's fast-paced action. There's some crazy moves.
Yep.
And there's some really athletic guys on the show.
Yeah. If you want a wrestling show to burn 20 minutes out of your life, turn it on.
Sure. Yeah. So, we all watch Raw every week, right? And
you can't compare the 2. Come on, Adam.
No, you can't compare the 2. They're not the same. But you can't tell me that if this is just 10 shows, just 10, and they're 20 minutes long without commercials. So you can't tell me that as a wrestling fan that you wouldn't want to watch this if you're currently watching WWE.
Yeah, the 10 episodes, but I would not be like, oh, man, I wish this show was still on. Come on.
Okay. All right, fine. I agree with that.
Yeah. Another point for me. If this was first Stephen A. winning the debate right now.
Okay. All right, fine. All right. Let's just move on throughout the series.
Okay.
Episode 3.
Yes.
We had first there was some kind of weird seance with Vampiro, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was with a bunch of candles, talking about his body and his soul was all dedicated to this. His life was all dedicated to that championship, that world championship, and WSX. So that's kind of sad, but
yeah.
But anyway, so the first match was the Trailer Park Boys.
Which
right?
You don't see them ever again.
No, you don't. We did get a little vignette of them, maybe in episode 2, I think. But where I think maybe their dad, who's like drinking and smoking a cigarette in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Any of that familiar to you?
Yeah, it doesn't stick out, but yeah, this is the last you see on episode 3 of the Trailer Park Boys. Which, good riddance.
Good riddance. But I do want to point out that one of the guys in the Trailer Park Boys is Nate Webb, who is another guy that I saw a lot in Olytic, Indiana, when I watched IWA Mid-South in high school. He's so he's another favorite of mine. But
did he go on to do anything else?
As far as I know, no.
Disappointing. But they fought the Filth and the Fury. I'm sorry, the Filth and the Fury. They were filthy. From the mean streets of Cleveland.
Yeah, the mean streets of Cleveland. M-Dog Matt Cross, and I guess M-Dog must be from Cleveland because Teddy Hart is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Which they were really riding his coattail because of the Hart.
Oh, man, they mentioned Bret Hart about 80 times. And Stu Hart.
Which is good. I think they should.
Sure.
Ride it. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, he had talent.
And yeah, he had, I don't know. Bret Hart obviously had talent, but wouldn't you say that Teddy Hart had talent?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was refreshing for the show. He was entertaining to watch. I have some questions, though, Adam. Your knowledge on wrestling's way past mine. I Wikipedia him, and he said he had a spat with something happened when he was in WWE.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened?
I don't know. I'm not real familiar with the whole thing. There's a great podcast that I've listened to that he's on where he tries to clear it up. It's what's the name of Jericho's podcast? Talk is Jericho?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's on Talk is Jericho. Teddy Hart is. And he tries to explain the whole thing. I still don't get it. But Teddy Hart, obviously very talented. I'm not sure how he is promo-wise, but in the ring, he's amazing.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, so, but he's had a lot of demons, and he's been very confrontational with other wrestlers and probably been on drugs.
Well, he probably has a chip on his shoulder. He thinks he's a privileged, spoiled brat, coming from the Hearts.
Sure.
Well, I did all this, I wrestled the best, I came up through the bottom. But
he was in WWE for a short time. And I think that he was on some of the side show. He wasn't on Raw and SmackDown, but, he was on some of the DNC shows.
That could have been a miss by WWE to capitalize on him a little bit.
Sure. I mean, if they allow him to pull off the moves that he's doing on this show,
yes,
then yeah, he's doing some crazy springboard moonsaults, and his move that is called open heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how to describe it. It's off the top rope. It's some kind of thing off the top rope, but it's ridiculous.
It's like something you do off a diving board on accident.
Oh yeah. An Olympic. It looks like an Olympic diver.
I mean, that almost. I mean, I know I've been bashing the show, but he is almost something to check out. I mean, I wish he would have became something in WWE to give more reasons to watch him. But yeah, his moves were pretty entertaining.
Yeah. He also, at one point, Teddy Hart takes Spider Nate Webb and puts him on a table outside the ring, and he electrocutes him with some wire that he finds ringside, and then pours a bunch of water.
Yes.
On top of him.
Super cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cheesy. Like, that's going to make it worse. And electrocutes him again. And this time, I don't know, they're like flames and a bunch of smoke. And it's like he's killed him, right? At least that's what it looks like.
And I think the announcer said that. Yeah. I think, oh my God, he has to be dead.
Yeah. Like, there are people that have committed murder who didn't give that much electricity. That's a quote that I have written down here.
Yeah, very good.
But even after that, Nate Webb is still laying on the table, and Teddy Hart climbs up a balcony, and then he does his open heart surgery move off of a balcony through a table, as if electrocuting a man to death isn't enough. You got to give him open heart surgery afterwards.
So Adam, what is your email and your Twitter and all that? So somebody maybe listening to the show can tell us why he never, made it into or had a career in WWE?
Sure, yeah. So on Twitter, you can contact us at TSWS Wrestling. You can find us on Instagram at That Strange Wrestling Show. You can email us at thatstrangewrestlingshow@gmail.com. And I think that's most of them. That's the important ones.
Oh, good. I'll be tuning into your show, That Strange Wrestling, to see if you get an email and hear a response.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we'd love some feedback on Teddy Hart as to why he never made it.
So, do you remember the promos for this episode?
The promos. Go ahead. What do you mean?
I don't remember them. I just remember they seemed very soap opera-ish, like a Mexican soap opera. I mean, very, very cheesy. I mean, I guess that's what wrestling is cheesy promos, but
sure.
I wasn't too impressed.
Okay, what about Matt Classic? Did you see Matt Classic on this episode?
No, I did not.
You didn't see Matt Classic?
I saw only 3 fights, and I didn't see Matt Classic.
Yeah, so you did see Luke Hawk and Alcatraz versus Los Pachos Guapos.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you did see that.
That was the third fight, yeah.
Yeah, that was the third fight. Oh, okay, so there was another fight. There was El Hombre, right, versus Jack Evans, which is Jack Evans won. So after that match, there was a promo with Matt Classic, and you didn't see that. The masked wrestler.
Oh, yes.
Like the throwback to Luthez.
Yes. I wish I would have got to see him wrestle. Man, I must be sleeping. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. The throwback promo to that, or whatever you call it, that was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. They were talking about he's a throwback to Luthez. He's doing catch can wrestling, hook and shoot. He's gonna turn people into a human pretzel. It's this man in a mask, he's like old time. It's all the promo is all in black and white.
It kind of makes me think of Samoa Joe.
His body does his body is similar to Samoa Joe. Sure, that's fair. But that is Colt Cabana, right? Which Colt Cabana is a big independent wrestler name and a huge podcasting name. He's got his own wrestling podcast every week. But he appears on the show one more time on Wrestling Society X, and it's just for a second. The dude never wrestles.
So is it just because it was only one season? Is that why?
I have no idea. Maybe he was on the extra show that apparently was on MTV.com. I don't know. But yeah, that really, I'm really disappointed he wasn't on the show. I wanted to watch him.
But you have seen him wrestle quite a bit after that.
Colt Cabana, I've seen wrestle several times. Matt Classic, I know he's done that character other places, but I've actually never seen Matt Classic wrestle.
Would he help the show out if he would have wrestled?
Oh, Colt Cabana is, Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's a great wrestler and he's a great comedian. He's hilarious.
Yeah, maybe he can come on your show sometime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll just call him up. Say, hey, Colt Cabana, why don't you talk to me?
So did you like the third fight with the TLC?
Yeah, I didn't care too much for it, really. The thing that was interesting to me about the whole fight, it was a tables, ladders, cervezas match. And the only thing that was interesting to me was that Chaos from Los Panchos Guapos, I don't even know how to say it, but I went face first into the beer.
Yes.
And it looked nasty.
Yeah.
Beer bottles, just unopened beer bottles, and he goes face first into 6 of them.
It was pretty brutal. I had no words for this fight, really. I mean, that was probably the most entertaining thing about the fight was the beer bottle.
Yeah.
Do you hear that echo?
Oh, there was one thing though at the end of this show, right? Is they cut back to the announcers and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was a brutal main event that we just had," and they're eating foot-long sandwiches.
Yeah,
you notice that they're like eating foot-long sandwiches, and they don't really say, "Oh, Dan, these are really good sandwiches." But I'm like, this is very weird that they're just eating sandwiches. They don't mention what's going on. I assumed it was Subway which I found out later I was wrong.
Quiznos.
It is Quiznos because later they advertised the shit out of Quiznos.
Yeah.
But up until this point, I had no idea.
And they barely could talk. Yeah, they're chewing on these sandwiches and they can't even commentate, doing their damn job.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. And that brings me to the ring announcer.
I'm glad you brought him up.
The ring announcer. I cannot remember his name at the moment. It's not important.
It was different than Jeb Bush. He brought energy.
Yes, he brings a lot of energy to everything. He's running around the ring, screaming everything, right? And I don't know. He's just like your everyday douche that's running around and screaming everything. And then at some point, like he gets a black eye or something.
No, he's doing his whole what is that darn movie?
Orange Clock or something.
Yes, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, he is doing a Clockwork Orange, but it's hold on though, because he goes like three or four episodes where he's just like a normal bald guy,
right?
And then all of a sudden, and then there's one episode where he's got a black eye,
evolving.
He doesn't even have the whole painted Clockwork Orange thing. Mm-hmm. He's just got a black eye and a long sleeve for some reason, right? And he's like announcing, and a magic wand pops up out of nowhere. And then the next show, or maybe the next match, he's got the Clockwork Orange painting on his eye, and it's obvious that's what he's doing. It was just a weird transformation for me.
He also had the power to stop a fight if it hit 10 minutes. If you correctly.
Yeah, the one 10-minute time limit draw that we did have, which I believe was Jack Evans in the Human Tornado.
It was. You are correct.
Which apparently also they had a dance off on MTV.com.
Which would have been great to see.
Oh, I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to see it more than the match that they had. And it was a draw, apparently.
Just like the match. Yeah.
Just like the match. Amazing.
Well, way to go.
Yeah, you couldn't even script. Like, you know what? That's what they say about life. You can't script this.
Just like this show.
So,
on to episode 4?
Yes, episode 4, Matt Sydal versus Scorpio Sky.
What did you think of Scorpio Sky?
Scorpio Sky's, I think it's funny that he's carrying awards around with him from high school quite a bit. That's kind of funny.
I think that's what I would do in my days in the backyard wrestling. I would have done something like that.
Yeah, we're both me, Adam, you, Jason. We're both former backyard competitors, right?
Oh yeah, numerous heavyweight champ or lightweight, whatever you call it. I'm twig, so I'm not really heavy.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely carried. I remember my backyard wrestling character. I carried around a science fair medal with me at one point.
Man, you should have freaking patented that, because that Scorpio dude just stole it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so I was definitely on board with what Scorpio was doing, though.
What was the science award for?
Yeah. So, the Petri dishes, right? I did a Petri dish with, I swabbed my mouth and then I brushed it with like Crest and other toothpaste and did Petri dishes of those. So that's what it was.
I would have said a volcano, but
no, I didn't do anything cool. I did dumb Petri dishes.
Well, I thought this fight though was a great fight. One of the better ones. Again, because I kind of ride on Matt Sydal's cock like what's her name did.
Lizzie Valentine.
Yeah, she's smoking hot. Yeah, he won the fight, and I thought it was pretty entertaining for all the fights I watched.
Yeah, he had a belly-to-belly moonsault off the top rope was how he finished it off.
Yeah, that was good.
And I liked how Lizzie Valentine got out some lipstick at the end of the match, and then wrote R8ed R on the back of Scorpio Sky. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that, kind of a good way to end that fight. And then now, did Scorpio give her his number or anything? Did he have make googly eyes at her or something? Did they have
I think, okay, hold on. I think Scorpio Sky I thought he was out. Maybe during the match,
right?
He might be giving her eyes. And that was, a theme with Lizzie Valentine's, it seems like everybody was kind of into her. Obviously.
Right. They probably all were into her. I'm sure there's
there's not that many women on the show.
There was few. You had your reporters and stuff.
Yeah, reporters. There's one masked woman on the show.
Oh, yeah. She was entertaining. What the heck was that?
I don't know.
Freaking sideshow.
Also on this episode, okay, this is what really got me into Jack Evans. Okay, there is a fan waiting outside the building, waiting for Jack Evans.
Yes.
And Jack Evans exits the building, and the fan approaches Jack Evans, and Evans is like, "I gotta bounce, bro." I gotta bounce. And the fan's like, "I just want to be just like you. Here's my DVD of me wrestling or whatever." And Jack Evans tells him, "Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll give it to somebody important." And then he just kicks him right in the nuts. He kicks the fan right in the nuts.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of my favorite moments of the whole show.
So yeah. Episode 4 was one of the better episodes.
Let's see. So episode 4 would have also been when we had the blinged out ladder. Is that right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on. Yep. You don't remember the blinged out ladder?
No. What is this?
Hold on. Okay.
Blinged out ladder. Is there a TNT fight or something?
Keeping it gangster. The tag team keeping it gangster.
Yep. Versus that 70s team.
Yes.
And they have
a $2 million blinged out ladder.
Dang. Okay. Was it really small?
Well, no. It's a huge ladder.
Oh, okay, man. I must have been drunk during this fight or something. I don't know what I
guess you were. I don't know how you missed it, because there's this crazy CGI effect of diamond bling coming off the ladder.
Was it the winner gets this ladder?
No.
What's the purpose of this ladder?
Slim and Ruckus from Keeping It Gangster, they have a ladder. I don't know what the purpose of the ladder is, but they carry a ladder with them, and it's blinged out.
And again, this is the last time we ever see Keeping It Gangster, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it is. And as you said, they face that 70s team, which is the Disco Machine and Joey Ryan. And I'm not sure who the commentators, because like we said earlier, every show has a different musical guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then
was it the Clips for this one?
What's that?
Was it the Clips, the music group, the rap group?
It's a rap group. Maybe it is the Clips. I don't know who it was, but they were killing it for me. I mean, in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Their commentary was hilarious. Okay. All right. I'm just going to read some of the quotes from that match. Okay. Look at the cut of that jacket. It's driving me nuts right now. Right. Ass tassels. There's nothing like ass tassels.
Great line.
Pulls the inhaler out of his nut hugger.
Oh yeah. What was the deal with the inhaler? Oh,
and he's going to put it in his mouth.
Ah.
How could you touch his ass and rub your body? That's it. Cancel Christmas.
These are lines that would have been on your YouTube wrestling show.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you're right. I'm not sure. Joey Ryan was super into the inhaler. Every match that he was in, he was into the inhaler. His tag team partner was into the disco ball. I couldn't tell you.
I don't even know who won this fight. This fight was horrible.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm going to say it was Keeping It Gangster. I think they used the disco ball against that 70s team.
I know they used the disco ball quite a bit against them, in the fights. But I don't even remember a ladder or anything in this fight.
You don't remember the blinged out ladder? That really.
I'm going to have to go back and just watch that.
Yeah, you sure are. Yeah. I do remember that's the first time I realized that Quiznos was the fucking sub that they were eating.
Is Quiznos still around today?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I really don't know. I'm going to say it is, but I'm not entirely sure. Eric Cannon, the anarchist. Do you remember the anarchist?
Yeah, that douchebag from Chicago.
Yeah, that's him. He's another guy that was in IWA Mid-South that I saw.
Oh, okay. But please tell me he didn't go to WWE. This guy was horrible. I could see him in WCW, maybe.
Yeah. WCW is way shut down by the time Wrestling Society X is going on. But really? He also... Oh, yeah. They closed in 2001.
Well, when was this out?
This is 2007.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah. So we're talking like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Holy cow, man. I should have looked that up before I did that.
So yeah, he was not in WWE, but he beat up his friend backstage, just to mention. And then we see, let's see, there's supposed to be a match between El Hombre and the Human Tornado.
Yeah. And then attacked by Six.
Yeah, Six Pac attacks Human Tornado backstage and then attacks El Hombre in the ring, and he calls out Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
Vampiro comes out, but then there's like a stare down between Vampiro and X-Pac, and out comes, what's this guy's name?
Well, at the time, he's a mystery. Nobody knows. He
Okay.
just has that scar on his face, and
Yes.
And then they're clueless. They have no idea, and he attacks Vampiro.
Right, yeah, he attacks Vampiro with a fireball, with some kind of weird fireball,
Yeah.
but it's like from another dimension or something. I don't even know how to explain it.
It came out of his hand. Yeah. Something with the pyrotechnics they use.
Yeah, it comes out. Not only does it come out of his hand, there's a fireball that comes out of his hand, and there's some, I don't know, reverberating effect. It's
Yeah.
quite a
The
sight.
screen is shaking and everything. So he basically kicks Six Pac out of like fighting Vampiro. Like he's like, you know what, Six Pac, you don't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. You're right. It's they just shove Six Pac aside.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense. Why didn't they just have him fight the Human Tornado and not even bring out Vampiro? I mean, this is part of the stuff that failed on the show. I mean, if people go back and watch this, they can be like, yeah, I agree with you, Twig. You're correct. It was garbage because they don't know how to run this thing.
Oh, man. I don't know. Pronouncing it completely garbage?
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. Compare it to New Japan. How does it rate?
I mean, no, it doesn't rate well. It doesn't rate well.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even say it rates well. Like, you know, it could be a farm league for WCW. I mean, you said it was way past WCW time, but I mean, it couldn't even compare to that. I mean, what's that show?
I would much rather watch WCW than I would watch this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Let's stop here. You're giving Wrestling Society X a thumb down.
Thumbs down. I give it
2 thumbs down.
No, I'll give it 1 thumbs down. As a wrestling fan, I'll give it 1 thumbs down if we're going on a scale like that. Like if we're going on like a 5-star rating, I'll give it 2.5 stars. You know, I mean, you know, it's watchable. There's things you can take away from it, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool as a wrestling fan. But man, if you're trying to introduce wrestling, do not do it with this. That would be a big mistake.
Yeah, I think the things that I really like about Wrestling Society X, Teddy Hart and Matt Cross, that tag team. Cross. Yeah, Matt Cross is M-Dog.
Oh,
the Filth and the Fury.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I didn't know Matt Cross. You threw me on a loop for that one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I really like that tag team. I really like Matt Sydal, as you said.
I agree.
Yeah, you know, a little bit after that, I do kind of struggle. The Human Tornado is kind of funny.
You know it. He's great. He was terrific. Maybe because he looks like me if I was black. Maybe. I don't know what it is.
A little bit. I could see that. Let's see. Jack Evans at times, I really like. That dude is so high on weed.
Yeah. He kind of looked like me in high school a little bit, you know. Yeah, we go to Denny's and I would have like the snow goggles on my head and I'd be like, "What's up, bro? Oh, you want to show me a video of you? Piss off."
Oh man! So Jack Evans,
they made a push for him too on the show. Man, they pushed him.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They continued to push him. They continued to say that the crowd was really behind him, but they didn't give him anything important to do.
Besides dance.
Oh, but yeah, besides dance. And then on the very last episode, episode 10, which apparently didn't even air on television, they say that he's going to be in a match against, I think it's the Human Tornado.
Yes.
For a new championship that they're just introducing to
Right.
Wrestling
Yeah.
Society
So
X.
is that like going to be a cruiser or whatever? That's a hell of a cliffhanger that never gets answered.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the X Division. Are you familiar with the X Division in TNA?
No.
Okay, well, they explained a lot like that. They're like, there's, it's between really athletic athletes.
That sounds kind of interesting. I mean, I would just say it's a cruiserweight. I don't get that.
They actually mentioned it has no limits. Like this is some kind of division with no limits. So I think they were trying to do exactly what TNA did, which was there's no weight limits, but you're supposed to be some sort of high flyer to be in the division.
I can't see that selling. I don't buy it. I don't get the gimmick. Any organization you're trying to sell something like that, I don't think it works.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the cruiserweight division WWE is not working right. So,
I mean, I'm sure that's for another show, but what I've seen, it's not horrible.
It's not horrible. It's there's a lot of things that they have to work out about it, but I think it has a lot to do with character, right? You got to give me a reason to care about anybody.
But as you said in other shows, I mean, you got 3 hours to fill. Sometimes you just need wrestling, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah. Yeah. But don't you think that maybe instead of just seeing two guys wrestle that I don't know anything about, that maybe they should be doing vignettes outside of just wrestling and tell me what they're about, like what their history is or what their past is or why they're here?
Yeah, Vince McMahon is listening, and I don't know if they've done this ever in the history of wrestling. I think they should have a sitcom. Or not a sitcom, but like a TV show that just tells the stories about these wrestlers. I'm willing to watch to learn. On Saturday morning, I got nothing else to do. I watched wrestling cartoons and stuff to get to know these characters. So they should do something like that on the side, I think. But they got so many characters, so many wrestlers in WWE. It's hard to tell a story.
You're right. They got hundreds of people now, and they're cutting shows from the network. They're cutting extra shows from the network. So all we have is the television shows, the pay-per-views, and we're not getting the storytelling from those shows.
So you're unhappy with the way the direction has been going.
Oh, very, very unhappy. I'm not happy at all. Very upset. I'm pounding my table over here. So upset.
But, you got, Wrestling Society X that was so successful.
Okay. Hold on. Wrestling Society X. Eric Cannon, right? Let's go back to Eric Cannon for a second. Okay. Because he's having this match against a guy. I don't even know what his name is, but that guy is connected to some kind of mob.
Oh, yeah. The cartel?
Yes, the cartel. Thank you.
That was great.
Yeah, the cartel comes out and they dip Eric Cannon's head in wet cement.
How did he live after that?
I don't know. He might not be alive.
That looked like freaking waterboarding with cement.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And afterward, they laid a dead fish on him.
Oh, yeah. The fish thing was great. I love the dead fish. It throw back to, the $1 Million Man stuffing money in your mouth, Jake the Snake having a snake on your chest after a fight. Hey, that's great. But, man, if you watch the show and watch the cartel wrestle, like the guys on the sides, the way they're kicking is horrible.
Yeah, the cartel is full of a bunch of fat dudes that, maybe they're trained to wrestle. Maybe they're wrestlers. I don't know. But it doesn't look like they're wrestlers.
I think it could pass in WWE right now, though, with the whole Trump issue and everything.
The whole Trump issue?
Well, yeah, no, with America and everything, and Mexicans and building a wall. You have the cartel on WWE right now. That would be great.
Yeah. The gimmick.
Yeah, the gimmick. Yeah.
I agree.
Not those guys. They're horrible.
No. Okay, episode 6. Let's go to episode 6. Episode 6 was the episode that Good Charlotte appeared on. I was amazed. It was Good Charlotte. I was in shell shock.
Yeah, this is them later in their career, I guess, because I didn't realize this was in 2009. So
2007.
No, 7. But still, 7, 9, whatever. Good Charlotte was, 1998?
Yeah, this has got to be them grasping onto whatever's left.
Oh, yeah. Besides Cameron Diaz's ass.
I thought one of them was married to Skater Boy.
Oh, you're thinking of the girl with the tie?
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne? No, I don't think so. That was Chad Kroger. Oh, we should play that game. You give me descriptions, very vague description. I try to guess what you're saying. The guy that broke into his school.
I know what you're talking about right now, but I have no idea what the name of the group is. Do you know the name?
Yes, I remember. How do you not remember? Because that's what you're given.
Yeah, I still don't remember the name of that band. Tell me the name of the band.
Oh, I just forgot it. The Pictures. Pictures.
Everybody listening to this show absolutely knows who we're talking about.
Yeah, they're the Canadian band that nobody wants to be referred to.
Right. They're the band that is like, they're the most popular rock band in the world.
Oh, Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah, that's who was with Avril Lavigne.
No.
Yes. Yeah, they were married. They got divorced. Man, pop culture, you got me on this wrestling stuff, but pop culture I can talk about all day.
Okay, well for another time, for many other episodes to come.
Yeah, spare all these wrestling fans.
We will discuss Avril Lavigne.
She should do porn.
Has she not?
Oh, I doubt it. Come on.
Let's see if there's anything interesting on episode 6.
Scorpio Sky, Jack Evans. Jack wins. And the second fight, that 70s team versus DIFH. Do you remember them?
Yes, that is Jimmy Jacobs, who is another guy I saw at IWA Mid-South.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also Seth Rollins.
Yes. So people that are fans will probably turn into this episode quite often. You know, I'm sure they promote us on YouTube, watch Seth Rollins premiere in wrestling.
Yeah.
Which it's very short. He doesn't have much. He fights good in the fight. The fight is okay. It's a small match, but this is all you ever see from Seth Rollins. I'm on another like a skit.
Yeah, it's just it's a small moment. It's just him throwing Jimmy Jacobs around into who are they up against?
That 70s team.
That 70s team. That's right. Yeah, he's just throwing them all around into that 70s team.
Did you watch the show when this premiered?
Okay. I saw a couple of episodes when this was actually on television. I think I saw 2 or 3 episodes. This one, maybe not.
Okay, because I was curious if you saw Seth Rollins fight and if you could see potential in him.
Yeah, it's hard to necessarily see potential in anybody on the show.
Oh, really? I thought Matt Sydal was terrific.
You would have said that Seth Rollins was terrific here?
No. Matt Sydal was terrific.
Oh, Matt Sydal looked good.
I could say he could go on, but Seth Rollins didn't give me enough.
Right, but the problem with Matt Sydal is that he's so small.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the problem with all of them besides Vampiro and the guy with the burnt face, which we will come to later on.
We'll come to at some point.
Yeah. Oh, it's no, it's not Vicious Vic. Who is the guy with? I have it in my notes.
I do too. We'll get to it. We'll get to it eventually.
Okay.
I do love how they refer to Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black as the emo team.
Yeah.
Right? They make like this. Jimmy Jacobs is particularly very sensitive. Wait, did they win this match or did they lose this match?
The 70s win. The 70s team wins.
The 70s team wins.
Yeah.
And that's why backstage later in the show, Jimmy Jacobs is trying to console Tyler Black. Tyler Black is so upset that they've lost. And Jimmy Jacobs wants to like write a song and play an acoustic guitar.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And he was in WWE too, wasn't he? Jimmy Jacobs?
I don't think that he had, well, I mean, he might have had a wrestling match on a C or D show.
Really?
But yeah. Currently, I think he might be an agent. I think he might be an agent in WWE currently.
Oh, okay.
But not a wrestler. Oh, okay. And so this is where we get Team Dragon Gate.
Oh, gets kidnapped?
Yes, they get kidnapped, and
that was great.
Yeah, they're like held like dogs, and they've got water bowls, but their captor, who drinks water in front of them, then spits into their dog water bowl.
Yeah, because he captures them because he's reprogramming them because they lost so many fights. They're not what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be this really great tag team from Japan.
Yes.
But yeah. So he's reprogramming them, and you won't see them for another couple of episodes, but you'll see little skits of them getting tortured.
That's correct.
But oh no, I think that's the next episode. We find out who the Scarface guy is.
Okay.
And it's Ricky Banderas.
Ricky Banderas.
Yes.
Ricky Banderas. Yes, because
I guess he fought Vampiro
in Mexico.
In another organization, maybe Mexico.
I think it was in Mexico.
And a casket blew up, and that's why he has scars on his face.
Yes, Ricky Banderas is very scarred on his face. You know what this reminded me of? Kane, right?
Yes, yeah, very much.
Very much. And do you remember when Kane finally took his mask off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah, and at the time, at least when he took his mask off, at least he had like shaved part of his head. Mm-hmm. So when he took his mask off, there was like also fake hair that was joined onto the mask. So you saw like a partially bald man, and there was black paint around his eyes. So the first time that you saw Kane unmask himself, he looked a little weird.
Right. Yeah, very similar to the Ricky Banderas.
Yes, but then later when you saw Kane, you're like, this is just a dude that shaved his head. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that Kane was supposed to be burned severely. And that's why he was wearing a mask and a fucking bodysuit because he was almost burned to death. But
then you could have never had Business King.
Yeah. Shirtless Business Kane.
Good gimmick.
No, great gimmick. Great gimmick. Yeah. But Antonio Banderas, I'm sorry, not Antonio Banderas. Ricky Banderas.
Not Desperado.
Not Desperado, but Ricky Banderas is, his face is, I wouldn't say it's disfigured, but it is scarred.
Yes.
On half of his face is scarred from what Vampiro did to him in some other organization in some other casket match.
Yeah, and then he attacks Youth Suicide, this little weird looking dude that we have no information on. This guy.
Yeah, they brought Youth Suicide, I think, up in the first episode, but then after that, we haven't heard anything else from him.
And Ricky Banderas just attacks the hell out of him and calls out Vampiro and says he'll get his revenge.
That's right.
And then you had the first fight of that, episode 7, is the Cartel versus Eric Cannon and Vicious Vic, who was recognized by the announcers.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
He's a fat piece of... Oof.
Yeah, they listed him at 400 pounds.
I give him credit, though. He was agile.
No, he was. He did some things. I think there was one time where he did a move off some ropes, right? He almost tried to do a moonsault.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Moonsault.
Yeah. But yeah, he was recognized by the announcers, and he was okay. He was kind of agile, like you said, doing some of those moves, but the fight was pretty boring.
It was. He ended up losing.
The Cartel got a huge push in this show.
They did, yeah. It took 3 men, though. 3 men from the Cartel to lay on top of Vicious Vic Grimes to get the 3 count.
And then the masked woman come out in this episode?
Yes, the masked woman came out before that and attacked the Cartel. But to no avail. Didn't work out, though.
And then on the second fight, you got Matt Sydal versus the Human Tornado.
Yes, and there was a love letter that was sent to Lizzie Valentine before this match.
And she's like reading it, or he's freaking out over it.
Yes, and she's downplaying it. She's like, it's no big deal, but she, puts it away, stashes it away in her pocket. So they have this match, and eventually the letter falls out of Lizzie's pants when she's in the ring to help Matt Sydal, and that distracts Matt Sydal.
And then I think you missed the part 2 where Lizzie hits the tornado in the balls.
Yeah, which we all know the Human Tornado has no balls.
He has balls. They're balls of steel, man. Who's walking around with no balls?
I thought his gimmick was he had no balls. I'm really confused. I don't know.
He's a PIMP. He has balls.
Okay, fine. He has balls. They're balls of steel. You can't hit him in balls of steel. That doesn't affect him. So, yeah. So, Tornado wins with some kind of ninja move. Did you catch the name of that move?
No, I didn't catch it. It was, but this was when he jumped into the crowd too with that moonsault over the top rope.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Very funny storyline though. It was an entertaining fight. Again, I like both of those guys. They were a highlight of the show.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're both up there for sure. We then saw that. What's the Japanese team name?
Oh, the Dragon Gate.
Yes, Team Dragon Gate. We saw Team Dragon Gate away in some room with their eyes taped open.
Yeah. Very clockwork orange. Like,
yeah, they were being forced to watch some television program.
China porn.
China porn. X-Pac and China porn. Oh my God.
You'll watch it and you'll like it.
So then, actually, just right after that, coincidentally, we saw Lizzie Valentine and Matt Sydal talking backstage, and he was upset that he's continuing to lose his matches, and I think he ends up walking away.
Yeah, because they're fighting because she doesn't date losers.
She doesn't date losers. That's right. That's correct. And I think Matt Sydal walks away, and then Lizzie is approached by X-Pac.
Come get some of that.
That's right. You know there's some trouble when X-Pac is starting to approach your woman.
Heck yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you think a porno is going to be made.
Yeah. There's definitely a porno coming in Lizzie Valentine's future.
You think he could have made a career with that? I mean, what is he doing with himself right now?
He does have a podcast.
X-Pac has a podcast?
Yeah, he sure does.
Every freaking former wrestler has a podcast.
Everyone that is alive today has a podcast.
That's not in wrestling. Or that is in wrestling.
Yeah, everybody that's in wrestling, everybody that's alive.
Gosh. Well, you know what? They have something. They have that on us, but we're going to take over.
That's right. It's only a matter of time.
With the descriptions of these fights.
I'm actually on Google right now, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell Lizzie Valentine's doing today.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. Think she's still good looking?
Yeah, she's apparently still a valet, I think. Let's see. She was in TNA. That's a good show for her. Yeah.
You get on there. I think if anybody of them went on to TNA, that's kind of successful.
Yeah, I think maybe she was in TNA before she was in Wrestling Society X, actually.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm having trouble finding what she's doing today. But
how long's TNA been around?
TNA, I'm going to say 2002 or 2003, but we are going to find out right here.
So it's been on for a little while.
It has been on for quite a while.
Do you think Vince McMahon likes it?
No. Okay, Vince McMahon knows it exists, but he doesn't. I think there were maybe a couple times where he might have cared a little bit about TNA, where they got, the public knew about him a little bit, but no one cares about it anymore. It's not even called TNA anymore. It's Global Force Wrestling. No one knows what it's called.
But Vince wants another organization to be successful.
No, you think he really does?
Yeah.
No.
That's what brings, competition is good for him.
I think that's probably true, what you're saying. The competition is good for Vince McMahon, but I don't think he actually wants another wrestling company that the majority of people know about.
Oof, I don't know.
What's that?
Yeah, as a businessman, he might.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. So what are you looking up?
Nothing now.
So we're on to episode 8?
Yeah, let's move on to episode 8. Episode 8 is the best episode of the whole series, and I'll tell you why. Because fucking Pitbull is on it.
He does a good job commentating.
He says some words.
He's hilarious. You could tell he was going to be he might have been successful at the time, because I didn't realize it was 2007.
It's hard. Do you think any musician is successful and also on this show at the same time?
Yeah, you're probably right. None of them are, because this show was garbage. Did you like Los Pochos Guapos or whatever they're called?
I didn't like them. No, I didn't care about them.
No, and they're fighting the cartel in this episode.
Yeah, and I don't like the cartel either.
Those Los Chopos or whatever, they're from Hollywood, California.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
It's just funny that they're from Hollywood, California.
I don't get it.
That's their gimmick? Yeah, well, Los Chopos from Hollywood, California. Okay, that's good. They're privileged little guys. Okay, whatever.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The mean streets of Hollywood.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I did hear during this match though that their finishing move was the Pelican Bay driver.
I didn't hear that. Good catch. What
Yeah,
now?
I caught that. That's all right. I caught it. I only caught it because Pitbull was hysterical about it. He thought it was hilarious.
Wow. I wish I just watched that episode because he did say some funny. Oh no, he called the next fight a redemption fight or something like that. Oh, we'll get into it, but
Okay, all right.
but the cartel wins the Los Chopos Hollywood California group.
Yeah, that's right. Trying to find out what we got here. Let's see, Lacey, right? Some backstage interviewer
Yes.
that we were introduced to. I don't know, maybe an episode ago. Maybe this is the first episode she's on. I'm not real sure. Her name's Lacey, but she's interviewing Jack Evans, who is super high. The dude is so high on weed. I know I've mentioned this already, but he's smoking so much weed. All right.
You know, it's for pain purposes. You know what wrestlers are going through. You know, you're jumping off of the top rope. You know, it's to ease the pain.
Okay. All right. You got me. He's smoking weed for pain. You know, I don't care why the dude is smoking weed. I really don't care. You know, I don't even care that he is smoking weed.
It might help with the comedy routine. I mean, Randy Savage was best when he was on cocaine, you know?
Yeah, sure. So, so yeah, he's just super high. That's all I really wanted to say. He's going to have a dance off with Tornado.
Ooh, yeah.
That we don't get to see.
Which is Human Tornadoes from Hollywood, Alabama. Which was an interesting twist. Where's Hollywood? Right. Yeah, I've never heard of Hollywood, Alabama. Have you?
No, I've heard of Hollywood.
That ring announcer, every time he says the Human Tornado, he does a little spin when he does it.
That ring announcer, I don't know what to say.
He was trying to be a hype man. He was trying to be Flavor Flav out there. He was trying to bring the crowd into it, even though you think the crowd was paid. So I don't know why you have to hype them up.
Yeah, you'll definitely never see that ring announcer in WWE. You're not allowed to do any of that in WWE for sure, as a ring announcer.
You know, how often do you even hear the ring announcer, though, on a show in WWE?
You hear him. No. You hear the ring announcer every show, probably every match. But the issue is that they mask it so well, right? The camera is never on the ring announcer. The ring announcer is always like standing away in the corner. The ring announcer isn't fucking on meth and running around the ring in, you know, crazy circles.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. That they should have cut him after the first episode.
So, do you know what happened at the end of episode 8?
Yeah, Vampiro bites Ricky Banderas for the WSX championship.
Okay, all right.
And surprisingly, Banderas wins.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming either. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, they have 2 caskets out, and one was full of electricity. So, yeah, if you're listening to this and you've never seen this episode, you should turn into it. You know, see somebody get electrocuted in a casket.
Yeah, so Banderas wins.
Yeah, he wins. Yeah, so he's the new champ. And then we move on to episode 9.
Yeah, we do.
Which starts off with Alcatraz and Luke Hawk. I think we work with Alcatraz. And he's fighting Eric Cannon versus Eric Cannon and Big Grimes.
Yeah, Big Grimes is the 400-pound man.
Yep. And Alcatraz and Luke Hawk wins.
Yeah, and there's a point where there's a WSX, is that right? Wrestling Society X, yeah.
Yes.
Light tube symbol close to the ring, and somebody gets thrown into it. It's eventually Vic Grimes. Vic Grimes is the guy that goes through the WSX light tube symbol, and it explodes. Huge explosion.
Yeah, doesn't it rattle the whatever the announcers are on?
Yeah, their perch top, their balcony announcers table setting.
They weren't safe there.
They were not. Oh, well, but maybe they were. Yeah, we'll get to that because the next episode there's something special. So on episode 9, though, that's when we find out that we're going to have a piranha. What do you know what this is called?
The Piranha Death Match? Yeah, I didn't realize they announced that on episode 9 because I know they do it on 10.
No, yeah, they announced that we were going to have a Piranha. I didn't know if it was like a Piranha box death match but it's just the Piranha death match.
Yeah, that's what that's what they called it on episode 10 that didn't air.
Okay, yeah. So they announced that we're going to, that is a match that's going to occur between Los Pachos Cupos and
the Cartel.
The Cartel. Okay. So we have Scorpio Sky versus is it Six Pac here?
Yes, it is Six Pac, and Six Pac wins.
Yeah, see, I was confused. I thought he was going to fight Jack Evans for some reason. But it is Six Pac, and Six Pac, destroys him, whatever. One of the things that I noticed, I don't know if it was just with the YouTube videos that I was watching, but there was some words that they let slip that you could say. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you couldn't say suck.
Really?
Yeah, one of the announcers said suck it, and they bleeped out suck.
But they did cuss, yeah.
Yeah, they cussed quite a bit on the show. They said...
And X-Pac did the suck it symbol.
Yeah.
He was sucking it all day long when he was doing the Bronco Buster.
Yeah, he did a lot of Bronco Busters. He did a lot of X Factors. I think he did an X Factor for the win in that match.
Yep.
Yeah, but don't you fucking dare say suck it on MTV.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that. I don't think WWE owns that word.
Oh, yeah, man. No, because they said DX on the show. They said plenty of wrestlers' names on the show. Like Macho Man and Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan. Let's see, we had Lacey. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I should have. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. We had Lacey interviewing Lizzie Valentine with her dog. And
oh, yeah, that was great.
Matt Sydal. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good stuff. She was asking some hard questions to them. She was getting to the note.
Yeah, who's behind this love letter note?
Yeah, good reporting by her. She was trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and apparently Six Pac, the rumor is that Six Pac is in the sheets. I'm not even sure if they're saying in the sheets yet.
No.
Okay, they're not. But there's some kind of connection between Six Pac and Lizzie Valentine.
Right.
Okay.
I think they're just talking to each other.
Okay, they're talking. Okay, so then we have Jack Evans versus the Human Tornado.
Which ended in a draw. And they had that.
Yes.
What you talked about earlier. They had the dance off.
They had the dance off on Extra, so we don't see it all in the show. But they had a match here. It ended in a 10-minute time limit draw. There was a lot of dancing for a wrestling match in this match, right?
Yes, yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was funny. Splits, punched them in the balls when the ref wasn't looking.
That's one of Human Tornado's deals. Is he kicks people in the balls in the corner quite a bit.
It kind of reminds you of like the Harlem Globetrotters a little bit out there.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, he does have a Harlem Globetrotter for sure.
Yep.
Let's see. We hear at this point that next week on episode 10, we're going to get an exploding time bomb death match. Hold on. An exploding cage time bomb death match.
Watch out. That makes me want to tune in.
I don't know. That kind of sounds great to me. It sounds a little bit like you were a horse about it.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of childish, kind of a pretty poor gimmick. And it's something we would come up with in our backyard days again. Yeah, something that you shouldn't be watching on TV. That's supposed to be a respectable wrestling show.
All right, Jim Cornette. All right, whatever you say. But on episode 10, let's move to episode 10, the last episode of Wrestling Society X, which never aired on MTV.
And it's probably because PETA got involved on the Piranha Death Match.
No shit. Like that's a weird deal.
Dude, they had a tank. It was a gigantic. I mean, it was a 100 gallon fish tank with actual piranhas in it.
I'm sure it was all CGI. This whole fucking show is CGI. Besides,
what? How do you see?
You think those are real fish?
That was definitely real fish in there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
In an abandoned warehouse, they're not CGI-ing fish in there. Come on.
These CGI a million explosions, bling on a fucking ladder, and you're telling me they're not CGI and fish in the building?
That stuff didn't happen in real life there? The explosions?
Is that a joke?
No, I'm being dead serious because the pyrotechnics.
Those explosions didn't happen, dude. Those are all CGI.
No. Just like when you go to wrestling things, when Kane comes out, the flames don't really come out.
Okay, no. The flames really come out. That's another thing. The freaking announcer, before every show, he made some kind of metaphor about fire.
Yeah.
And then the fire would shoot they wouldn't shoot only out of the post, but also all around the building.
Yeah, so that wasn't happening in the building.
CGI.
Oh, okay. Maybe you're right about the fish. I don't know. I have a hard time believing those were fake fish because I was sold. I have an eye for these things.
You have an eye for real and fake fish?
Yes, and if I was part of PETA, I would not be happy with this episode at all. Those fish were in danger because there was numerous times they almost went in the tank, and one guy actually ends up in the tank.
Yeah, he does. He ends up in the tank, and he gets the door shut on him for 3 seconds, right? And
it was a crate they put on top.
Right, yeah, of the tank. And you say it's a huge tank, and you say it's 100 gallons. Maybe it is 100 gallons. I don't know really what 100 gallons means, but it seemed kind of like a small tank to me. I was expecting I was expecting a huge tank. Yes,
you're right. Compared to the ring size, it's kind of a joke.
Right, yeah.
But it looked like it hurt when they bashed their face off of it. One guy got cut from it.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's fine.
And then you had the explosion cage fight after that.
Oh, yeah, but before...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before that, did I already mention that Newfound Glory was on this show?
Oh, not on this episode. No, you didn't mention that.
Newfound Glory. So on the last 3 episodes, right, we got Good Charlotte, Pitbull, Newfound Glory.
Mm-hmm. Newfound Glory big at the time? No?
I think they were.
Oh, well, there you go. You answered your question earlier saying, was there anybody big on the show?
I don't know if they were big at the time. They were big at some point. Have you ever heard of Newfound Glory?
I have. I can't remember a song. Is that the...
No. I can't remember a song either.
Something about being perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. But, so, we got a part with Scorpio Sky. Is this sounding familiar to you?
A little bit.
Okay. I
didn't write anything down for it, though, so it doesn't... I'm not sure if it happened in this episode or not.
Okay. Yeah, so
is that when the Vampiro attacks them and they all come running out trying to stop Vampiro like he's just some Brock Lesnar beast?
Yes, that is what happens. So Scorpio Sky was in the ring. I'm not sure for what. Maybe he was supposed to have a match. And Vampiro comes out and he rips the pants off of Scorpio Sky. And the announcer screams, "You just saw his wiener." Because he literally ripped the pants off of him. They had to blur it out.
Yeah.
But then the whole locker room comes out and they're trying to stop Vampiro. And
he's unstoppable.
He is unstoppable. Does Ricky Banderas come out during all this?
Yeah, he does. And they scrap at it a little bit. And Vampiro pretty much kicks his ass, in Ricky Banderas as the champion.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So,
but yeah, they did that through every episode. It seemed like they had scheduled matches and then they get interrupted from other wrestlers. Like Pac interrupted a fight.
Yeah.
And, Vampiro. It's like it was pretty unorganized.
Yeah. Well, but I think I like that in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. You like the chaos.
I like the chaos, a lot of unorganization. Right now, the product feels a little like WWE feels too organized to me.
Which you used to like, I thought.
What do you mean I used to like?
I thought you liked wrestling, like talented wrestlers, and they're actually showcase their moves and everything.
No, yeah, you're right. No, I'm definitely fickle and a flip-flopper. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
Very Donald Trump.
I'm very Donald Trump, Al Gore, I don't know, whatever politician you want to say. Sure. All of them rolled into one. I'm a fickle fan, man. All right. Yeah.
But you have a voice.
Sure, I have a voice. Of course I have a voice. We all have a voice.
Right. But you have a voice with the show.
I do have a show too. Yeah, I guess that's something.
Right.
Sure. So a fickle voice, but
that's all right.
Well, it doesn't matter. So then we saw backstage. We saw X-Pac with Lizzie Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like talking on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Evan Bourne. What's his name? Matt Seidel. Matt Seidel is like listening through the door, and he hears him talking. He breaks down the door, just like tears down the whole door. And so him and X-Pac have a scuffle. I think X-Pac maybe knocks out Matt Seidel.
Yep.
And Lizzie is screaming, and X-Pac just says, "Shut the fuck up, bitch."
Good television.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what was this whole storyline? I'm very confused. He just told Liz McGuire, "Shut the fuck up, bitch."
Hey, he doesn't have time for that.
But I thought he was just on the couch talking. I thought the last like 3 weeks he was just like macking on her. I'm so
He was.
Ugh.
But when you're at the level of Pac on that show, man, he was a pimp.
You're right. He is the true PIMP.
Yeah, not the human tornado.
No, not at all. So that leads us to the reprogrammed Team Dragon Gate versus Filth and the Fury, which again is M-Dog, Matt Cross, and Teddy Hart.
Yes. What did you think of this fight?
I mean, as the last, it's not great. It's nothing special.
Had a kind of a Starcade feel to it.
Oh, you're talking about the scaffold.
Yeah, that was pretty cool how Hart jumped off, moonsault off.
Yeah, moonsault off the scaffold into the ring.
Yeah, that was entertaining. I mean, you had death-defying moves, and then they ruined it with the exploding cage.
Yeah. So, as you said, Teddy Hart did do he did a moonsault off of the scaffold into the cage onto like 3 guys.
Yeah, I don't know how many times he hit his own partner in some of these moves.
Yeah. Every time somebody got thrown into the cage would explode.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of explosions.
The ref got it because he got what is?
Oh yeah. Teddy Hart gets blinded by the Team Dragon Gate's manager by a fireball. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, by a fireball. So Teddy Hart doesn't know he can't see anything. He grabs the ref and like back suplexes into the cage. So the ref explodes. It's all crazy. It's going nuts. And then eventually one of the guys from Team Dragon Gate hits a button
that sets a timer pretty much.
Yeah, it sets a timer. And at the end of the timer, which is like a 10 or 5 second timer, I'm not sure. At the end of that timer, the cage is going to blow up. It's going to explode. And it does. The cage explodes. And let's see, Matt Cross and Teddy Hart are laying in the middle along with the referee. The cage explodes. And then at the end, we kind of get a glimpse of Teddy Hart just like laying there. After it's already exploded, he looks like the same as before it exploded.
Yeah, and that was the end of the episode, and that was the very final episode. Do you feel like you wanted to see another season to see what happened? Do you feel cheated in life because it was only one season?
You're being so tough right now. I want to see Matt Classic.
Yeah, he would have been interesting.
I want to see Matt Classic. I want to see Teddy Hart some more. I want to see Matt Seidel some more. I do want to see these guys again.
So you were pretty content with it. You liked the show. What would you give it?
What would I give the show? I'm giving the show, okay, what's the rating system? What are we doing the rating system on?
2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, 1 thumbs up.
Yeah, can I give a thumb up? How about a thumb up?
Okay, 1 thumb up. That's what I give it. I agree with you. Only I'm a little more critical of the show than you were. But you had things that you were critical about. You didn't like.
Sure. Yeah, I would say watch it, right? Would you say like skip it or watch it? If you were,
I would say watch it to debate us, to pick a side, to choose who the true winner of this.
Okay. So, wait, pick a side between who? Me and you?
Yeah, because I was down on it, even though we rated it the same thumbs up. I thought it was a piece of garbage show.
Okay. Yeah. So you think it's a piece of garbage. I think it's
was to watch Wrestling Society X. I watched it. It was fun enough to get through 10 episodes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's fair. It's 10 episodes. We don't have to watch a season 2. So there you go.
I'm looking forward to my next mission, my next
That Strange Wrestling Show mission?
Yeah. What my next project, as I'm falling asleep at the mic. Sorry. I probably have really low energy right now. I need to drink a Red Bull or go really milk a bull semen, put it in my system or something.
You definitely need bull semen in your system right now.
Yeah, I need something because I need to get jacked. Because I want to get jacked.
No, I think you did great. You did great. I'm glad. I'm so happy that you were able to join me for the show today. And hopefully we'll do it again real soon.
Yeah, I can't thank you very much, Adam, for having me on the show. And I hope you have much success with this. And I guess I'll talk to you some other time.
Yeah, very soon. So hopefully, do you have any social media you want to push across?
Social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Kai's Facebook is add some friends to my 400 friends I have. That would be nice.
All right, we'll push your Facebook account then.
Yeah. Why don't you get paid for friends, man? That'd be cool.
That would be great. Okay, so again, thanks for coming on the show, and you'll definitely be on future That Strange Wrestling Show recalls.
You know it.
Until next time.
You know it.
Rated on. Let's go. Like this stuff, go.
Phasing in the Omega mode again. I'm rhyming the whole song's worth. Cut it down this time around. It's not a long verse. Time to show the world, Mama Diamond, I was born first. I deal real.